New at 10, a vigil is held for the victims of the deadly terror attack in New York City. Only ABC 17 News has new records that reveal more information on the suspect's brush with the law here in Missouri.
And as temperatures warm up this weekend, I'm also tracking some rain and some storm chances.
Mass shootings happening in places where you'd least expect it. I'll take you inside the training Mid-Missouri law enforcement schools and churches are taking to keep you and your family safe. That's next.
ABC 17 News at 10 on KMIZ starts now.
ABC 17 News terror alert. A vigil is taking place tonight for the victims in the deadly New York City truck attack. Thank you for being with us tonight. I'm Joey Parker.
And I'm Ashley Strohmeyer. More than 100 people remembered the 8 people killed Tuesday with a candlelight vigil event and march. The suspect, 29-year-old Sayfullo Saipov, used a truck to hit the victims on a Manhattan bike path near One World Trade Center. 5 of the victims were former classmates from Argentina celebrating their 30th graduation anniversary.
Today, workers in New York City began putting up additional concrete barriers at intersections, a sign of the times, including the one Saipov is accused of driving through. City leaders have identified nearly 60 intersections expected to receive these improvements. U.S. lawmakers proposed a $50 million bill to install traffic barriers at intersections across our country. Prosecutors brought federal charges of terrorism against Saipov in court yesterday. ABC 17 News has new records tonight detailing the suspect stops here in our state.
In a story you will only see on ABC 17 News, ABC 17's Lucas Geisler uncovered all of this today, and he joins us live in our newsroom tonight. Lucas, Saipov stopped at least twice for truck inspections.
Yeah, Ashley and Joey, Saipov worked as a truck driver, and we reported earlier this week that he received a ticket when stopped in Missouri back in 2015 for a bad brake light. So tonight, the records that I have here that I haven't seen reported anywhere else in the country show where he was traveling and what he was carrying with him. New York City will look different in response to a rental truck attack this week. Federal authorities believe Sayfullo Saipov drove a rental truck through a crowded bicycle lane and charged him with terror-related crimes. I got my hands on records today showing the stops he made as a truck driver through Missouri. The Highway Patrol cited him in 2015 when he lived in Florida for a cracked brake light in Platte County. The inspection records show Saipov was taking auto parts from Florida to Montana when he stopped at the Scale House there. The records also say Saipov was arrested at a scale house in St. Charles County when he didn't pay for that ticket. Saipov was heading to Independence, transporting insecticide from Georgia. The records also prove he would have had a Class A commercial driver's license, allowed to haul the highest weight limit. Florida's Department of Motor Vehicles shows it requires some driving tests, but no reference to any background or mental health exams. The documents show he was not inspected for any hazardous materials. And Missouri's former director of Homeland Security told me earlier this week that while these stops may be minor and even routine in a lot of cases, they may come under scrutiny by federal investigators. They'll be looking for evidence such as any statements he might have made that might have been pro-ISIS or anti-American that may have signaled something about maybe this planned attack that happened in New York City. Reporting live here in the newsroom, Lucas Geisler, ABC 17 News.
Thank you, Lucas. And federal investigators say Saipov wanted to hang ISIS flags from that rental truck that he is accused of using in the New York City attacks.
Police in Colorado have arrested a man today after last night's deadly shooting at Walmart. 47-year-old Scott Ostream is accused of shooting and killing 3 people at a store near Denver. Law enforcement officers found him in a car near his apartment this morning. 2 men and a woman were killed in the shooting. Ostream has little criminal history. According to court documents, he filed for bankruptcy back in 2015. Investigators have not identified a motive in the shooting. The increasing number of active shooter incidents is forcing communities to engage in a new level of preparedness.
Tonight, in a special report, ABC 17's Taylor Petras went to 4 different trainings in just 2 weeks. She has a look at how Mid-Missouri churches, schools, and law enforcement are preparing.
It's only November 2nd, and the U.S. has already seen the 1 active shooter incident it's averaging a month. How we prepare for them has changed drastically over the years. I went behind the scenes of several trainings to find out how our Mid-Missouri communities are preparing. Oh, my soul. For many, church is a sanctuary on Sunday morning. But in recent years, those sanctuaries have also become a target.
Hopefully it never happens, obviously, but it's one of those things where we want to be prepared.
Richland Baptist pastor Nick Drake tells me about 2 years ago, church leaders decided to bring in the Callaway County Sheriff's Department to teach them the basics of what to do during an active shooter. They now lock every door to the church during the service.
You always think if a shooter comes, you should just, take cover or run, but actually one of the things they will teach you is start throwing things at them. Grab a hymnal and chuck it.
This is a drill. This is a drill.
Churches aren't the only places taking safety precautions.
Smart run, guys. Come on.
The drills are fast.
We describe it as an unorganized fire drill.
And the training is intense.
Move! People are dying!
Designed to simulate a real-life active shooter situation.
It's an event that we never want to see happen in any community.
For this story, we suited up in a bulletproof vest and mask for training with Holt Summit Police and Callaway County Sheriff deputies.
Police!
We're not waiting for a SWAT team. When that first officer gets that call and he arrives on scene, he's coming in. He or she's coming in without backup.
Holt Summit Assistant Chief Shannon Jeffries tells me he's had more schools, churches, and even businesses coming to him for training.
It's probably just because of today's day and age and having more active shooter events across the country. A lot of people are starting to prepare themselves better.
Right now, the U.S. is averaging nearly 14 active shooter incidents each year, killing more than 600 people and injuring 800 more since 2000. More than a quarter of those incidents happening in the past 3 years. What made you want to have your church go through some type of training like this?
There is the combination of just the awareness that it could happen, that we need to be prepared, but also the people that have gone through it and have seen how beneficial it is.
But the tactics are changing.
We used to teach lockdowns, where you just literally lock down in your room, you pull the shades and you hid in a corner, and that's just not the right thing.
The thing you should do most is get out.
Some tell me the hide and run, hide, fight is outdated.
If I was to hide under this table over here, is that doing any good? We know that active shooters are looking for victims of opportunity.
While others say hiding and locking down is still a good first start.
You've got to do something first. And your first thing is to get behind something that's safe and secure.
But all agree you need to run or get away from the danger as quick as possible.
Evacuation is the key. If you can get out, you get out.
Last week, teachers, social workers, businesses, and law enforcement from across the state came to Mid-Missouri to become certified in active shooter training.
Things like this happen all the time, and you can't take the mindset of it's not going to happen where we are. You have to be ready for anything.
What they learned in an intense, hands-on 2 days is what they'll go teach to their communities.
And this is really the most important because it trains those that are truly involved in the mix.
Pastor Drake tells me he knows of other churches that take even more safety precautions.
There's definitely more we could do. We could definitely be more prepared, or there's probably more things we could do to kind of be ready if something were to happen, or even to take precautions.
State law passed in 2013 requires all school districts in Missouri to participate in active shooter training. That training is included in the district's budgets.
To see more of the different trainings and drills, you can log on to our website, abc17news.com, for a Web Extra video.
Cooler air is helping put the dips in our mid-Missouri temperature roller coaster. ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Sharon Ray is tracking the changes in this your first full complete forecast. Hi, Sharon.
Well, hello. Yes, we're back in the lower part of that roller coaster ride, as we are going to be cooler tomorrow. A little bit below average, not much though. And we have a lot of clouds still. As you've noticed, we've had a lot of cloud cover the past few days. And tomorrow we'll see a few breaks in those, especially north of Interstate 70 in the morning hours. So we'll see a little sunshine tomorrow, but all in all, it's going to be a lot different than today. The morning's going to be colder. You'll want to grab the coat before heading out the door. And although it'll be a cool, dry day, tomorrow night we could start to see some drizzle or some spotty light rain develop. So we're watching that for Friday night into Saturday morning. We'll get a little wet here and there. For tomorrow, though, it is going to be cooler. Temperatures starting off in the upper 30s and low 40s in the morning. It'll be colder with those wind chills in the mid to upper 30s. And then we reach the upper 50s in the afternoon. And a little bit of sunshine's expected tomorrow, but we'll also see a lot of cloud cover, especially late in the day. So we do have that chance of some rain Friday night into Saturday morning. It would be very light. A warm, windy Sunday's on the way, and there is a chance of storms. I'll pin those down for you when I come back here.
Thank you, Sharon. President Trump names Jerome Powell as the next chair of the Federal Reserve today. The 64-year-old is a current member of the Fed's Board of Governors. If confirmed by the Senate, Powell will replace Janet Yellen, whose term expires next year. Now, this is the first time in 4 decades the president has not asked the chair to continue their term. Powell also served, by the way, under former President George H.W. Bush.
Closer to home, the Lincoln University Board of Curators will meet in Jefferson City next week. Board members are expected to meet on the LU campus next Thursday morning at 8:30. Curators plan to talk about the search for a new university president. If you recall, former President Kevin Rome resigned earlier this year. He took the same position at Fisk University in Tennessee. Mizzou has also announced a new initiative to make on-campus housing more affordable for students. MU Chancellor Alexander Cartwright is expected to hold a meeting over the plan tomorrow morning at 11. The initiative involves lowering the cost of living on campus and meal programs. We'll update you once we learn more about the school's plans.
Coming up on ABC 17 News at 10, where the news comes first.
University of Missouri is about to start a search for a diversity leadership position. We'll tell you how it's trying to get the community involved.
And I'll have more on the weekend forecast. As we get warm, we're also going to see wind and a few storms are possible. I'll show you that coming up.
The University of Missouri must fill 2 big roles by spring of next year. The search is for a new MU provost and assistant vice chancellor of Title IX.
ABC 17's Deborah Kendrick joins us live from MU's campus. And Deborah, the students will be able to have a say in what they expect in the Title IX office.
Yeah, Joey, around February or March is when the search committee will go ahead and actually bring in those candidates in an open forum style setting. That's when staff, faculty, and students will be able to ask some questions to the candidates. The University of Missouri Search Committee will be busy the next couple months. Mizzou will have to hire for 2 big positions. Today, the MU Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Dr. Stokes, announced she will be heading to the University of New Mexico as their president after serving for nearly 3 years at Mizzou. This comes several months after the former Assistant Vice Chancellor, Ellen Erdley, decided to part ways with the university.
You know, there's lots of reasons, and so just because somebody leaves doesn't mean there's something wrong with that institution.
MU Faculty Council Chair Bill Wiebold says he is positive about the future search for the 2 candidates.
I've tried to tell people not to fear a search process because, yeah, somebody has left, but you get an opportunity to hire somebody that's going to have an impact on that institution.
Today, faculty was able to give their input on what qualities they would like to see in the future Title IX office. Recommendations included someone who has experience in university policy, someone who can create a positive climate, and someone who is a licensed attorney.
What kind of qualities do you want us to look for when we are evaluating candidates for the position?
The search committee says once they get all of these qualifications and recommendations from all of the stakeholders, that's when they'll put a candidate profile together and they'll post that online. They typically say it's going to be about 8 weeks until that job is officially posted. Reporting live here on Mizzou's campus, Deborah Kendrick, ABC 17 News.
Thank you, Deb. And right now, there's no set date on when the search committee will actually start officially the process for the provost position.
Well, it sure turned out to be a beautiful day on this Thursday. This afternoon, we made it into the 60s and 70s across the area. It lasted just a short time because that cold front we were talking about, it did come through today, and now we're dropping. The winds are out of the north, and temperatures are in the upper 40s and low 50s right now, and that's going to lead to those lower 40s, even some upper 30s by morning, so it'll be a colder start to the day tomorrow. Some upper 30s expected north of Interstate 70 by morning, lower 40s south, cool wind blowing, and we'll see clouds being rather persistent in the morning tomorrow, but they will break up, especially in our northern counties. So as we go through the day, we'll see a little sunshine. Enjoy it, because this weekend there's still a lot of clouds in the forecast. Temperatures are rather cool. We stay in the 50s in the afternoon, and we'll have those breezes blowing from the north near 10 miles an hour. So high temperatures range tomorrow anywhere from about 52 to near 60. The Lake of the Ozarks, you could touch 60 degrees, but farther north you stay in the mid, even some lower 50s tomorrow afternoon. Now, as far as that cloud cover, for tonight, you can see how the clouds start to thin out in our northern counties by morning. A little bit of sunshine will start to move in north of Interstate 70 in the morning, but as we go through the day, that will be short-lived, because by afternoon you can see how the clouds start to return. If you live at in the Lake of the Ozarks area, you're likely to have mostly cloudy skies all day long. Those clouds will bring some drizzle or even some spotty light rain as we head into Friday night and Saturday morning. That moisture gradually lifts to the north with warmer air that starts to move in, and then we'll start to see a few pockets of sunshine and dry weather Saturday afternoon. So Saturday afternoon, which is we're starting with here, it's dry. We have that warm front to the north, so temperatures are a lot warmer Saturday. And as we go into Sunday, that warming continues. It is also short-lived because we have another cold front coming in. So we start the day Sunday with clouds. We'll have much more wind Sunday, and then as that front comes in, we could see a few thunderstorms develop. Now, those will become more organized as they head to the south and east, but nevertheless, we do have a chance. We'll see some storms and rain Sunday later in the day and Sunday night. And then Monday, we'll see some showers return, but mainly for our southern counties. So we do have rain on and off in the forecast. For the Tigers game on Saturday, it looks good for November. 60 degrees at kickoff, not bad. And I don't think we'll have rain during the game, but tailgaters in the morning, there could be a little drizzle or some light rain early on Saturday. And then Sunday, we climb to 78, but it's going to be pretty windy out there. Those winds, even in the morning hours, will be blowing close to 15 to 20 miles an hour Sunday morning, gusting. And you know why? Because that's the pressure difference. As this cold front comes in, that is going to bring that better chance of rain Sunday afternoon. Again, the best chance is going to be in our southeast counties to see those storms. Strong storms are possible, so we'll be watching that, and we'll have updates on any threats they'll bring coming up. But in the meantime, just enjoy a warmer weekend. Saturday, it'll be less windy and a better day to rake those leaves if you need to get that done.
All right, Sharon, thank you.
We're working to learn more after a crash south of Columbia today. It happened shortly after 2:30 this afternoon on Route H near Airport Drive. According to emergency crews, two large vehicles tried to avoid each other on the road. Investigators say one of the trucks went off the road and flipped after the driver overcorrected. Two people were taken to the hospital with injuries ranging from minor to moderate. A Glasgow student's parents reveal more details about the bullying they say he endured at work and school.
17-year-old Kenneth Sutner's family filed a discrimination complaint in June. Now, in it, his parents say he was called names and harassed for 15 years, both at the Glasgow Public School District and at the Dairy Queen where he worked. The complaint is attached to a September motion made by the school district in its legal battle with the Howard County coroner. The district wants the coroner to turn over the inquest findings. It also found the district negligent. We're told without the transcript, the district cannot properly defend itself against the allegations. Sutner took his life last December. A U.S. Army sergeant could soon receive his sentence. We'll share how much time prosecutors are asking for Bo Bergdahl to serve coming up.
A U.S. military judge will decide the fate of Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl.
This after Bergdahl pleaded guilty to desertion and misbehavior before the enemy. That's after he left his post in Afghanistan back in 2009. Prosecutors have requested a sentence of at least 14 years in prison. Bergdahl's defense team has asked the judge to spare him prison time since he was captured by the Taliban and held in captivity for 5 years. Bergdahl was released back in 2014 in that controversial exchange of prisoners.
A former campaign chairman for President Trump has appeared in federal court today. Paul Manafort and his business associate, Rick Gates, asked a judge to release the form of house arrest. Their request for release was denied. Both men face money laundering and other charges as part of Robert Mueller's investigation of Russian interference in last year's election.
Tonight, investigators looking into last year's election have expressed interest in the president's son-in-law. Federal investigators have reportedly been asking witnesses during interviews about Jared Kushner's role in the firing of FBI Director James Comey. He is, of course, married to President Trump's daughter, Ivanka. Kushner is a White House senior advisor. In recent weeks, his team has turned over documents to Robert Mueller.
Mizzou women's basketball began exhibition play tonight.
But ABC 17's Tyler Murray explains how a scary play involving star player Sophie Cunningham has some fans worried.
Sports Zone starts now, sponsored by U.S. Cellular.
Tonight, the long wait for the Mizzou women's basketball season is over. While it's only exhibition, the Tigers were back under the lights at Mizzou Arena for the first time this season. The Tigers were taking on Southwest Baptist. Lauren Aldridge making her first start after transferring from Kansas. She made a big mark early on. Sierra Porter, a couple misses, but gets the pass out to Aldridge, who knocks down a 3-4-0 Tigers. Then Sophie Cunningham gets the ball, a cross-court pass. Aldridge wide open, and she's going to hit that every time. Mizzou up 7-5 at that point. Mizzou forward Jordan Frericks got her first start after tearing her ACL last year. Little pump fake here. Gets the defender to bite, and an easy basket. Frericks led all players 13 points. Cool moment here. Sophie Cunningham and Lindsey Cunningham's great-grandmother was in the crowd to watch them play and coach on her 96th birthday, no less. And then Cunningham with a nice steal and basket. She would only play 8 minutes, however. It's a scary play here. Cunningham goes hard to the basket, gets tripped, falls hard on her right wrist. She previously bruised that before the season. She would leave the game and came back in the second half with a nice pack on her right wrist. Head coach Robin Pinchton said x-rays will be tomorrow. But too much Mizzou in this one. Jordan Roundtree hits the three. Mizzou rolls 77-55. The number 5 ranked Mizzou wrestling team is preparing for its matchup against Illinois Saturday. The one big wrinkle is the match will be outside. There will be mats on the Tigers softball field where the matches will take place. The first one is set to go at 4 p.m. This will be the first time the Tigers hit the mats since Jaden Cox graduated last year. Mizzou head coach Brian Smith said it's nearly impossible to replace Cox. However, All-American Willie Miklas moved up to Jaden's 197 weight class and appears ready to go after rehabbing a knee injury.
It wasn't easy, I know that. He went through some difficult times and wondering if he's ever going to get back. And there was even a point in the summer that we were just like, gosh, is he ever going to get his quickness back? And sometimes his weight got a little heavy, and so then bringing it down. But in the last 4 or 5 weeks, Willie Miklas has just become the Willie of old.
I feel like he's going to come back better than ever. You know, he's finally getting back into stride, and him up a weight is going to be good because he's going to be hungry, you know, go out there for a national title this year.
And up on our website right now, we have more on replacing bronze medalist Jaden Cox, as well as previewing that Illinois match up on our website, abc17news.com. The good news is weather should be pretty decent on Saturday, so that you won't have to worry about rain, maybe. And
yeah, that's what Sharon says.
Yeah, that's what she's saying. So, I mean, you got to believe Sharon every time.
Tyler, thanks.
We'll have another look at your forecast in just a moment.
All right, we have a cool day tomorrow. Temperatures will only reach the upper 50s to near 60 tomorrow. We'll have a lot of cloud cover, but some sunshine, especially north of Interstate 70. It warms up this weekend, and it still looks good for the Tigers game on Saturday. Temperatures near 60 at kickoff.
Sounds great.
Everyone, thanks for joining us tonight.
Tim, what's next?
See you tomorrow.